In this lesson, we're going to learn that how we can install PyQt, what IDE we're going to use, and how we can build our first simple GUI application using Python and also PyQt. Now, before installation of PyQt, we need to download and install Python. Because PyQt is a Python library, then for using of PyQt and for building graphical user interface applications using PyQt, we need to download and install Python. So you can just go to the python.org, and according to your operating system, you can download a Python version. Now I'm using Python 3.9, and you can just choose downloads, and from here you can just download Python, and after that you can just simply install that. Now, after installation of Python, we need an IDE. Now, there are different IDEs that you can use, but I'm using PyCharm IDE in this course, and you can just go to the jetbrains.com. There are two versions of PyCharm IDE. We have a Professional Edition and we have Community Edition. Now, Professional Edition, it's a paid version and it's a paid edition. For this, you need to buy this, and there are different features for this Professional Edition. Now, the second edition is Community Edition, and it's completely free and open source edition. And if you come down, you can see it's free and open source, and you can just download the file type according to your operating system, and you can install that. So I've already installed it. I've already installed PyCharm IDE, and the installation process is so simple and easy. Also, I've created a new project at the name of PyQt tutorial with virtual environment. Now, in PyCharm IDE, it's so easy that you can create your project, but along with the virtual environment, you can just click on File, New Project, and from here you can give the name of the project. For example, whatever you want, you can just give it in here. And after that, in here, if you see, if you're using virtual environment as we are using in this course, you can just choose new environment using virtual env. And also you can see that I'm using Python 3.9. Now, if you're not using any virtual environment, you can just use it previously configured interpreter, and you can just click on create. Your project will be created. Now, after creating of the project, we need to install PyQt. Now, if you see Riverbank Computing, there are different ways that you can install PyQt. The easiest way is that you can just use install pip, and you can just say pip install PyQt6, and it will install the latest version of PyQt. Now let's just install this, and you can just open PyCharm IDE, and in here we can choose terminal and paste this. Hit enter. Now we are waiting for the installation. The latest version of PyQt has been installed. Now let's create our first graphical user interface window using PyQt. Now in here I'm going to just create a new directory. I'm going to just call it part1, and in this part1 I want to create a new Python file. So you can just right click new, and in here Python file, we can just call it mywindow.py. So the first thing is that we need to import our modules and also classes. Now in PyQt everything is module, and everything is modules, and modules are divided into different classes. Now, for example, we can just use from PyQt6 Qt widgets. We want to import Q application and also Q widget. Now, if you see in here, so this Qt widgets is a module, and from the Qt widgets we have imported Q application and also Q widget. This Qt widgets module contains classes that provide a set of UI elements to create classic desktop style user interfaces. Now there are about 138 classes that are related to Qt widgets module. For example, we have Q application, Q widget, we have Q label, Q push button, and these are the different modules that are related to Qt widgets, different classes that are related to Qt widgets module. Also, for example, we have a Qt GUI module. After importing of Q application and a Q widget, we need to import sys. Now, the first thing is that we need to create the object of this Q application. So we can just say app Q application. Now, this Q application class manages the GUI application's control flow and main settings. Qt application specializes Qt GUI application with some functionality needed for Qt widget based applications. For any GUI application using Qt, there's precisely one application object, no matter whether the application has 0, 1, 2 or more windows. Now, and here you can leave it an empty list if you're not using command line or command utility or command prompt. If you're using a command line or command prompt utility, then you can just make it like sys.argv. After creating the object of the Qt application, we need to create the object of our window type. Now there are 3 different window type classes that you can use. So we have Qt widget, we have Qt main window, and also we have Qt dialog. So we will talk about this. For right now, we are just using Qt widget. So we can just say window. We need to create the object of Qt widget. After that, we need to show our window. Now there is a method in Qt widget class that we can use that's called show. We can just say window.show. Also, we need to execute our this app. So we can just say sys.exit app.execute. Now if you're in PyQt6 you can just use it like this. And now if I run this, you can see that I'm receiving error that Qt application object has no attribute exit. Not exit, sorry, this is execute. So let me just remove this. Execute. Now if you are in PyQt6 you can just use it like this, app.execute, like this. Now if I run this, you can see that I am receiving error that Qt object has no attribute execute. But if you're in PyQt6 then you need to just remove this. And PyQt6 there is no problem. Now if I run this, you can see that I'm seeing my first graphical user interface window. But for right now, you can see that I don't have any title or any icon, but we will create that. And this is our GUI window. We have minimize, maximize, and also we can just close this window.